Hey everyone, welcome to another video breakdown, and today we're going to be talking about USDJPY, and then we're going to talk about GBPJPY, also known as pound yen. So before we get into this, 80% of you are not subscribed to this channel, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified when I post more videos like this. All right, so let's hop into the charts, mainly because we're going to start with fresh analysis. I didn't save this when I closed this, so I lost all of my analysis. So now we're just going to go ahead and do it all from scratch. So as before, if you've watched any of these other breakdown videos, they're actually quite popular. Go ahead and check those out. But we do start on the weekly time frame, mainly because we want to start high and then we want to go low. So let's go ahead and look at this weekly time frame. So what I'm seeing overall is basically an uptrend. We are kind of getting into some consolidation kind of in this area, mainly because price stopped here, here, and then kind of in the zone here. And then if we look on the downside, here, here, and then there's a resistance point here. So let's go ahead and draw that out. So on my charts, I actually like to start with the latest. Actually, let me make this a little bit bigger and then put on these. All right, so let's make this bigger. All right, now we can see. So I like to start with the most recent resistance and then just kind of looking left just to see what this can also touch. So let me just drag this out. And as you can see, this line hits this rejection here. It also hits this rejection here. And then of course we got a perfect rejection right there. So that is looking good from the top side. And then what I like to do is I like to draw out the nearest support level. So looking right here, here is the lowest low before it jumps up there. So once again, let me draw my box. And then I like to drag it left. And then sometimes I like to go ahead and map out other levels, especially because in this situation on UJ, we have these three touches up here, but then it's not going any higher than that. It's not going higher than this 151 sort of level. So let me go ahead and map out. Let's see, I could map out this level. This is actually really nice. Then I'm going to tell you in a second why I wanted to map this level out. Okay. And then I'm just going to drag it over a little bit. So, okay, so that's looking good. We're going to go down to the lower time frames and make this a bit more precise, but right now it's just kind of rough on this weekly time frame here. But basically the reason why I drew this line right here was because we have a support here. Price formed this nice bullish engulfing candle and then it shot all the way up here. So that's awesome. And then looking left, we do have this break of this support here, but then once it came back up here, it came up a little bit, met this resistance level right here and minor resistance level here, and then right here, we go ahead, do my little circles again, and then right here, we do see a touch at this support level and then it rejected and bounced up. So basically I'm looking for areas where price has bounced up from the support level because I'm looking for support levels. If I was looking for resistance levels, then like we have right here, I would look for areas where price has gone down. So that's what I'm looking at right here. So I see a resistance, support, I see a break, and then I see it come back up, and then I see a support. So that's why I wanted to mark this level off. If I wanted to, I could even mark off this level right here, mainly because once again, we have another support that has formed. And then if we look left, we also see another support. So let me move this a little bit. And like I said, don't worry if it's not too precise on this because we're going to go down on another level and we are going to map it out. So, okay, good. So support, and then we got a support. It almost touched, but it's kind of like a little gap between the support level and the candle. And just know that when you're mapping out these different levels, it's going to be either a clean touch like we have over here. It's going to be A perfect touch is going to be a little gap. That's totally okay because as you probably noticed by looking at these candles that are these different charts, that it doesn't always go perfectly to the support or resistance level, and that's totally okay. Here we got a touch, let's see, gap, and that's pretty much it. There's another one, but I can't think of it. I don't see it that often, but basically just touch or gap. That's typically what we will have. So let's go down to the daily time frame. All right, so I like to right click, reset chart view, so that way it's a little bit cleaner, and then let me scoot it in a little bit, just so that way my face is not covering the chart. So once again, starting from this most recent resistance level, I like to click on this and then adjust it. So basically, I like for my my closest resistance level in this situation to be kind of clean. So you can see it's pretty much flat. Let's zoom in right here. It's pretty much flat up here. So this is a nice resistance level because it came up here once and then it formed another twice, three times, and then it just took off to the downside. So that's actually a really clean resistance level right there. I'm not too worried about this. It was overhang. That's what I was trying to think of before. But basically where price goes over and it comes back, over and it comes back, totally okay. So that is looking good to me. And then once again, we got this resistance or this rejection right here, and then it just took off to the downside. So that's actually looking good. So let me look at my first support level. This is looking good to me right here. Wait, let me move it over. All right. So, all right. So this right here, this is looking good to me as a support level. And then right here, we kind of got some craziness happening where it shot up, came down, shot up. That's just the nature of the beast. And then right here, actually, we got a clean break up above and it did go up quite a bit. So that's really good. Right now, we got a resistance level, all good. So if we come over to here, same kind of thing, break to the upside, downside, we got a nice clean touch right there. And this support level to me is looking awesome. So let's go down to this other support level that we drew. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Alrighty, nice. All right, so now you can see that we have quite a few touches here, touch, 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 and you notice also that these are also rejecting. So those are actually really strong signs that this is a key support level. And then if we look to the right in this situation, we can see, can I put this over here? Nope, can't do that. But basically, we can see that we're at a nice psychological level at 130. So pretty much just also keep that in mind, especially with different currency pairs and even the stock market and other markets that you may trade, that when it comes to levels, sometimes the support and resistance levels are at key psychological levels. So nice round numbers like 130 in this situation, 131 may even be a nice round number depending on the market. And then you can see right here, 140, this was our previous level. And then let's see what this is at, 126, maybe like 125, okay. It's kind of the same thing. Basically, it's a nice psychological level, so just look at that as well. It's more apparent in some markets than others, so just know it's not like 100% rule or anything like that. So when it comes to this right here, we got a support, and then it kind of rejected. Even though it did go down, it still formed a support. Right here, we got a nice little rejection, and then if we come all the way over here, rejection, resistance, resistance. So we've already looked at this on the weekly time frame, basically just going down to those lower time frames, such as the daily in this situation, and seeing if it still makes sense. So right here, nice support. We got a break, support. This is all looking good to me, so really happy with this. So now what I like to do is to go down to H4 and get even more precise. So once again, right click, reset view, move all the way over. And now basically you can see if we look at our most recent resistance level, we can see even more detail. It's still looking good to me. let's see. I may actually want to, let me see how, no, this is actually still looking good. I was thinking that maybe I wanted to make this yellow box a little slimmer, but it actually looks fine to me. We'll see when I zoom out. So that looks good. Let's go. Okay, so let's go down here. We're just gonna zoom in a little bit so we can actually see the candles. All right, a lot of zooming in and moving stuff around on these charts for sure. All right, so once again, we got our nice rejection levels right there. Scoot on over. Craziness, as we saw before, more craziness, but we got this nice resistance level. So actually this I do want to, let me see how it looks over here. Scroll all the way. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna make this level around 140 a little slimmer. So I could actually do this right here. And what I'm looking for right here is basically, I wanted it to touch here. This is kind of like a zone. Some people use this as entry zones. I don't necessarily do that, but it's just nice to just kind of know what zone price is playing in. So right here, we got two candles inside the zone. We got a rejection. We got a touch. Um, however you trade, that's fine. But basically, I just want my levels to be a little bit more precise. So yeah, this is actually looking good to me. We actually um, may make this box smaller. This is looking good right here. This is good right here with the rejection. So we actually may make this box smaller when we go down to maybe the H1, just because as you go down in time frames, you don't want your box to be this big and have, a whole range inside of that. It won't make sense. So that's why I like to keep my zones a little bit thinner, especially because I like to focus more on like the H1 or those lower time frames, even down to M15. Sometimes I'll look at M5 for entries, but mostly it's going to be like H1, 45, 30, something like that. It just kind of depends on what I'm seeing. So a lot of times people ask, well, what time frame do you enter on? And it really depends. So it's not like a set thing. You just have to play around with it. Okay, cool. So now we're going down to that other resistance level, and I'm actually going to make this. Yeah, see some the rejections that we saw before. I'm actually going to make this a little bit thinner. So let me actually reset this. It's looking a little weird. Okay. So this is that initial rejection or resistance level. So I'm just going to here. And I'm looking for, there it is. I'm looking for this right here so I can make this box a little slimmer. There we go. So yeah, I just want these things to touch here. Oh yeah, that looks so much better to me. All right, awesome. I don't want these really big zones because then it takes up too much real estate on my chart. All right, cool. So that looks great to me. So now we're going down to the last kind of support level, and let me scroll all the way to the right. Okay, good. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. So now what I'm gonna do is tap on this box and make it, I gotta zoom in quite a bit. All right, so basically this little area right here, I'm trying to make the zone a little bit slimmer. So I'm actually, where'd it go? Okay, there we go. And like I said, it's okay if price overhangs a little bit because we got this touch. Let me highlight this because we have this touch and rejection right here. Even though we have this overhang right here, it still came into this kind of area and then shot all the way up. So that still looks fine to me. All right, so, okay, cool. So now let's go down to, actually, I do like to peep at the 3 hour time frame. Okay, this is getting kind of, okay, so it looks like it's super scrunched in right now, so it's okay. I'm just trying to just get an overview. It's basically the same stuff that we saw before. I don't see anything that looks weird, so let me zoom in again. Okay, so this is an initial. I'm just looking at my levels, and then it helps if I bring this y-axis or the price axis down and then move in the date just so that way, yeah, the candles are tiny, but I could better control it. So, okay, great. That looks fine. That looks fine. I'm just looking at this level. Sometimes, mostly the H4 and the H3 will look about the same, but basically, you just want to just take a look at it. So I just click through all the time frames. Do whatever works for you. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let me go to H2. Sometimes the biggest difference will be between H4 and H1. So that's when you may have to adjust your levels a little bit, but this is actually looking really good. So that was that top one. Let me zoom in here. Okay, yep, we got the little resistance level right there. Okay, then let me go down to the other level that we drew right here. Then I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, this is still looking good. I may actually make this box a little slimmer. So as you go down in time frames, it may be a little bit more challenging to find out where the um, I guess anchor points of this box is. So what did I want to do? So actually I wanted to bring this up a little bit. So let me do that right here. Bring it up even though I can't see it. But that should be about, okay, yeah, that's about what I was looking for. So that looks good. That looks good. Scoot, oops, skip some data. All right, that still looks good because we got these rejections in here. We got rejection to the upside, rejection. Okay, perfect. That looks amazing. All right, so this is probably a little bit more precise than some others, but that's how I like my charts. I like them to be precise in a way that looks good to me. So do whatever feels good to you. We already adjusted this on the other levels, but it's still looking good on H2. Still looking amazing. Okay, so let's go down to H1. And now you can see we're seeing a lot more data. So as you go down in these time frames, you'll see a lot more data. It's basically just the same stuff that we saw on the weekly. It doesn't change. It's just the amount of data that we see is changing. So that looks fine. Actually, let me adjust these levels. Okay, and then we got to zoom in. Let's start back here. Zoom in. Okay, that didn't really help. Let's go like this. Okay. Yeah, it gets a bit more challenging. We're gonna zoom back in. I'm just looking at it from a high level, see how it looks. I'm looking at this level here and this level here. So that looks good to me. Okay, yeah. Those rejections, that's still obvious. Okay, so let's go here. Zoom in a bit in this section. Okay. Yep, you just gotta keep zooming in because we're at the lower time frames and there's a lot more data. This is still looking good to me because we got these rejections. I'm gonna scroll over. Oh, this is perfect. It is sitting right here perfectly. I'm trying to think if I want to. No, this actually looks good because if this was in a live market and I saw this bullish engulfing, I would probably take a buy, especially if it's in an uptrend. Oh yeah, this is looking great. These rejections are awesome. This was a fake out right here. Yeah, this still looks good. Still looks good. All right, so now let's go down to this level. Start all the way over here to, wow, we're quite a ways away. So let's hit reset chart, scoot it in, and then just slide all the way down. I think it was somewhere around 125. The other zone. Yep. All right. So we already did that one. There's a gap from earlier. All right, here we go. So let's zoom in here. All right, yeah, this is nothing but a big consolidation right here. Let's see. I don't think I want to move that though. Look left. Oh yeah, I definitely don't want to move that. Mainly because we have these rejections right here and it shot up to the upside. Okay, yep, and that's it. All right, cool. Yeah, and we didn't draw any levels down there. All right, cool. So this is looking good for UJ. Let's go to a higher time frame just so that way it's not. Let's go to the daily. That's pretty okay. So so basically, what I'll be looking for this upcoming week. Let me extend this box now that I've done my charting. What I'd be looking for is possibly sales. So I'd definitely be looking for start up here. I'd be looking for buys if we get a nice clean close up here. As far as where it's going to go, you just don't know because this is basically all-time highs. So the first level for sure that price could potentially go is if we look left up to this 151.84 kind of level. And let me actually move this down so you can see it a little bit more. But basically up to this level right here, this will be the first area because it did nice clean rejections there. And then as far as where it will go, we have no idea. So you just kind of gotta ride the wave, or basically depending on your trading style, if you're more of a break and retest type person, what you will be waiting for is for a price to go up somewhere, come back either here or maybe in here, and then look for your entry signal, and then go and take that trade and target the most previous or the most recent high in this situation. So that's another way. You may be waiting for a little bit. It just kind of depends on what your trading style is. But another thing I see as far as an intraday level would be like right here, because price came up, formed a support, formed resistance, and it had a nice sell down. So basically, I wouldn't take any trades inside of here. Basically, what I'm looking for this upcoming week, I wouldn't take any trades inside of here because we want price to break out up here and continue to move forward, or we want price to break down for possible sells if we get some sort of candle closure below this level and come down to here. Now, one thing I would keep in mind for the upcoming week is basically the fact that there's a support here and there's a resistance here, and then once a candle closed up here, like in this situation, keep in mind we're looking at the daily. This works on any time frame, but basically above here, then it did shoot all the way up here. So if you want to get a little bit more precise, let's look at like H1. And of course, we got to zoom and zoom and zoom. So that's if you're looking more for a swing trade, that what I talked about on the daily. I mean, we're still looking for any candle closure, depending on your entry time frame, above this level right here. And I still would take sales down here, but say if you wanted to take trades in here, that's not really my thing, but one thing that you could look for is this level right here. So this could be a nice support level right here. Let me zoom in quite a bit. All right. So this could be a nice support level. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have a resistance, support, or like these rejections, basically rejection to the upside. We did have a support here. Price broke down, but then it came back up and came up here. And depending on your trading style, this could be a really nice move. So from here to up here. So that could be something, and then another level would be like right here. Basically all I'm looking for is an area of resistance like we have right here, and then an area of support right here, even if it doesn't touch perfectly. So right there, that is what I would be looking for if I'm looking for an intraday move. So basically a day trade or even a scalp, depending on your trading style. So that would be a nice zone. So pretty much I am a zone to zone trader. I'm just basically looking for support and resistance and taking trades off of these levels. So right there could be another one. Let's clean it up a little bit. I would actually do right there just because we got a lot of touches right there. And then if we look to the right, we also have a lot of touches. So this is basically a nice trading plan for somebody coming up this week. But if you want to do more of a swing trade, which is more of what I'm trying to do a lot more these days, then a higher level, like any of these higher time frames, even H4, you can see that the price still lines up with those levels that I drew. It's just basically you're just getting more data on those lower time frames, but these could be really nice trades. So if I was looking for a bounce play, like here, I would probably wait for like some sort of signal in here and then probably go back up. But you just never know what the market is going to do. But basically, you just want to have different scenarios. You want to come up with a plan for if the price goes up, come up with a plan if the price goes down. That's pretty much what you want to do. And this is pretty much my analysis for this upcoming week for UJ. So before we get into the other chart, which is GJ, I wanted to make you aware of the free program that I have. Basically, it's a mini trading course. It's 100% free. You can find the link in the description box below. But basically, it's basically going through some of the different lessons that you need in terms of getting started with trading. And then also when it comes to learning just different techniques and things that I've covered in the past. I know you're going to find this super helpful, so go ahead and check it out in the description box below, just because it's going to really help you. And of course, I'm going to be adding additional content to this when or as time goes on, as I learn new things. Definitely will put it in here so that way it can provide a whole lot of value to you. So go ahead and check that out. Now over to GJ. So once again, we're just going to start from scratch, just do some analysis, and this one's going to be a little bit quicker than the other one, mainly because now we know exactly what we are looking for. So once again, starting on the weekly time frame, we can see that price is generally in an uptrend. This is 2020 right here at this point, and it's been going up. So let's go ahead and zoom in and just kind of get things where they need to be. So once again, let's go ahead and let's draw our most recent resistance. You can see that I have an alert here. Okay, so I'm looking at our most recent support. So I like this support right here, mainly because it's a really strong support, and that is because we have a rejection here, rejection here. So I'm just going to draw it right here. I'm going to draw these a little thin this time, mainly because when I go down to the lower time frames, I don't want to have to adjust it as much as I did before. Okay, so this looks good to me. And I mean, we do have a resistance here, so this is kind of a minor, not really minor, because it did make a big move from here, but we do have a level right here. Okay, good. And I'm drawing this because, I mean, one, so this formed a rejection or a resistance rather, and then price came down here. And then also, if we look at this week's candle, we do see price rejecting this one. Let me move it down, this 188.582 level. So it's definitely, and then too, we have a couple weekly rejections right here as well. So now let's go down to the daily, fix our charts. Scoot it over. I should go like this. Okay, so, okay, good. Yeah, so this is looking good to me. Glad that we drew this level. We can clearly see now on the daily where we have some two rejections right here. Then we also have rejections to the downside here, or actually a rejection to the upside. Here, and then we have a resistance form right there, so really happy with that. So now let's go down here. We have this support level, and we also have a ton of rejections all throughout here. We also have a fake out right here. So basically a fake out is when price looks like it's going down, but then it comes right back up. So and you can only And you can't really anticipate this. That's why it's called a fake out. So, you know, they just happen when they happen. And then here's some rejection and then all of that. So let me actually make this a little bit thinner. So right here, okay, cool. So that is looking good to me. This is, oh, and actually let me adjust this weekly level. So I'm actually gonna move this, or the first area that we drew on the weekly. So I just moved it up just above here, just made it a little bit thinner because as we go down, it's obviously going to appear like a big zone, and it's really not. So this is looking good. All right, so H4. So once again, just looking at my levels and making sure everything looks good. All right, that, making that a little slimmer. And how do I like this? So actually I'm gonna make this slimmer as well. Move this right here because we got a nice support here. We also have rejections right here. We may actually adjust this a little bit more on H1, but we'll wait until we get there. So down here, this is looking perfect to me. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm going to skip H3. I'm going to go down to H2, mainly because it's half of the H4 time. Okay, so I'm looking at this right here just because we see a support level right here, and I'm trying to, let's see, I'll probably change it on H1 because I think it looks fine here. Let's go down to, wow, we got to go down quite a bit. All right, so scoot it over. Yeah, this is still looking great to me. Like I don't need to change anything. So now let's go to H1. We may have to do some minor adjustments. Right click, reset. And I like to just move these a little bit just to kind of fix it so I could drag it around like this. So, okay, that's still looking great. Great, great, great. And then this is that area. Actually, this is fine now looking at this on H1, mainly because here's a little consolidation. Price broke out and closed above and then it took off. So, but I mean, it took some time. It didn't just shoot straight up, but it did go up. Here looks good, looks good. And now I'm actually happy with that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I thought maybe I was going to make some adjustments, but no, it's actually looking good. Let's see. Okay. Okay, and this was that area as well. It actually looks really good on H1 because I'm satisfied with that. All right, cool. All right, I think this is all of our levels. Let me go back to the weekly just because it's zoomed out. Yeah, I think wow, I drew that out pretty far. It's fine, whatever. All right, so let's go here. Actually, I think I did. Make sure. Okay, this is looking good. I want to move this down. See, if I take this and move it down here to right where these candles closed and then jumped up, then it lines up more with this, and then it's still in alignment with this rejection. I gotta scroll all the way back. We get another rejection right here. And okay, yeah, this looks really good, especially this area right here. Had this huge rejection to the upside, came down, but then it came back and traded up. So that's awesome. Okay, so this is all looking great to me. So as far as my setups, let me go to like H4 or something that's higher. So I like to look at these higher time frames, especially when I'm trying to come up with trade ideas. So my trading idea on this week is definitely, this is screaming to me, this level right here. So basically above here will be buys. And there are some little levels here, but let's just say below here will be sells, mainly because this is a really strong support level right here. As we saw right here, all these rejections, if you're below this line, sells above this line, you could buy up to here. This is actually, let me see how big this range is. Okay, that's a decent range. Depending on your trading style, this is actually a really decent range. And then from here to here should be more. Yeah, that is looking good. All right, so, okay, so let me go to H3. Just refining my levels or my zones a bit, at least this one that I just drew. I'm not going to touch the ones that we just spent time going from the weekly all the way down to the H1, but this level that I just drew. So let me see how it looks on H2. Great. H1. Great. Let me just move this above here, because basically what I'd be looking for is a closed candle, maybe a H1 candle or something like that above here, and then to take it all the way up here. That's actually a really nice trade idea. Let me go back to H4. Then there's like a little resistance here. Actually, before I do that, let me make this bigger. I can see it, but it's kind of a lot going on. All right. So I see that there's a resistance level here. And this range for me is too small to trade, but if you're a scalper or something, then this could actually be more than enough for you. So trading in this zone, but it's much cleaner above here. So this would be ideal for me. And then as far as, actually it would be better from right here to here. This would give a little bit more range. Yeah, definitely a little bit more range to play around in. So these are more for intraday trades. So basically scalps, which is holding the position for a few minutes, sometimes maybe an hour, or an intraday trade where you're holding it maybe for minutes or for hours, but you're definitely closing before the trading day ends. And me, these days, I'm more of a swing trader, so I may hold it for a couple days, maybe up to a week, just depending on what's happening in the market, and just kind of let it go. So this would be more for like an intraday, actually right here. And I moved this from here to here because before I was focused on this rejection here, but I realized that a support had been formed most recently. So when you have a bearish candle with a bullish candle, like you have here, this is a support. So this is actually a much better range. A much better range to trade in, and depending on how you take your entries, this could be a really nice move, and it's not even that big. So like I'm more trying to get the bigger trades, so from here to here, but depending on your trading style, like this could be a nice move as well. I probably wouldn't do anything in here just because for me it's too small. So and I would probably take sells below this level because you see the rejections up, even though this did kind of close in the zone, it still ended up coming up. So, and let me draw this right here just because I see a support here, and then also we got this rejection candle. So even more so, let me zoom in, just kind of looking left. Really, I wouldn't take a trade below this, or until it got below this pink line, because in this zone, like right in here, there's still a possibility for price to say, nope, I don't want to go down anymore. I want to go up like it did here, and then just a little bit here. So that is just me. So yeah, so that's pretty much my analysis on UJ and GJ for this week. So happy trading, and I'll see you in the next video.